Hey everyone, welcome back to another YouTube video, and the Winter 2026 anime season has finally come to a close. I just finished watching the finale episodes for the anime that I was keeping up with over this season, and I had done a recap for summer 2025 and I fell off the face of the earth for fall 2025, so I'm bringing back seasonal recaps for this year and hopefully for forever, really. So I'm just going to run through the anime I was keeping up with this season, tell you what I liked about them, whether I recommend them, and yeah, there are some that I obviously didn't get to because this was a very stacked season, similar to spring 2026. And just 2026 in general, it's a very stacked year. So there are going to be ones that aren't in this video, but they are in my backlog to get to, and they might get a review further down the line. But without further ado, this is the Winter 2026 anime recap. Okay, so first up on the docket is going to be Tamon's B-Side, which is a shoujo anime, and I know that excites a lot of people, including myself. This one follows Kinoshita, who is a high school girl who does housekeeping. And basically, she does housekeeping as a way of funding her hobby, which is buying lots of merch and fan materials for this idol group named Face, specifically her Oshi, who is Tamon, and she, loves this man, calls him God, basically, considers herself like just a regular human being, not worth even looking at. And this all hits a twist when she's assigned to do housekeeping at this one apartment, and it's actually Tamon's apartment. But the thing is that Tamon is not the same when he's performing for Face or doing interviews and stuff like that as he is when he's in private, because in private he's actually very gloomy, very self-deprecating, very introverted, as opposed to being the hot guy sex icon of the group. And basically the story follows Kinoshita as she's learning these different sides and aspects of Tamon, as well as the other members, because shockingly they also have other personalities outside of their public personas that they put on when they're a part of Face. And I thought this one was really fun. It was a really great watch. I love the character designs. The animation was really, really stellar, especially when Kinoshita is going on her like rants and rabbit holes and stuff like that. And there's just different things happening, and like it just the tone shifts are really, really great. As well as the fact that Saori Hayami also voices Kinoshita, and she does a great job of switching her tone whenever being very polite, very calm, versus when someone is self-deprecating himself, then switching into basically a drill sergeant to berate him and say that no, like Tamon is God, and just basically just try and uplift him, try and make him more confident. And I really enjoyed that. I got a couple laughs out of the series over the course of it, so I thought it was really fun. I would definitely recommend it. And quite frankly, I hope that it breaks the shoujo curse of only getting one 12-episode season and never getting anything else. So my fingers are crossed for a season 2, but if not, then I'll probably end up reading it because I did enjoy the story a lot. And I had a lot of fun with it, as well as the other group members. They were really fun as well. But yeah, it was definitely a really fun watch, and I enjoyed it a lot. Okay, next up is going to be Champignon Witch, which follows our main character Luna, who is a poison witch, a black witch, and basically she lives in the forest, the dark forest, basically, and will bring like things into town, basically to like make money and like be able to like live a life. And the way she works, her constitution or ability is she takes in poison from the surrounding environment, and then when that happens, she's putting out mushrooms behind her wherever she walks, basically poison mushrooms, mind you. And because of this, because she's a black witch, all the townspeople hate her. They do not like her at all. They discriminate against her. They bully her. And she has no real human friends outside of maybe the other black witches, but even then it's questionable because they're a very odd group of people. But this all does change when Lise, who is of a similar background as she is, however, not being a black witch, actually, he is a white witch, but there are similarities between the two of them. But he basically comes into her life, and despite being reverted to basically a child due to his wounds, he then has to try and like learn magic so that the black witches don't execute him due to what he is essentially, because him and Luna are the same thing, but she learned how to control her magic, whereas he still very much up in the air as to what the fate of the world will be if he continues to grow or is allowed to continue to live. And so basically the story kind of like follows them kind of getting to know each other better. Luna kind of like discovering human connection because she's been robbed of that her entire life. She can't touch people. People are like afraid of her. They're like, oh yeah, no, like if you breathe in her like poison breath, it'll kill you. So yeah, it's a really nice story about Lisa kind of trying to like give her that human connection, and Luna trying to figure out exactly how to be a person that actually has other people around and not just like familiars basically and like other like forest creatures. And I thought it was really sweet. It's a nice series. I feel like the beginning and the end were my favorite parts. The middle does get kind of there's a bit of a lull in the middle, I will admit, where Lisa is kind of like learning to use his magic, and it feels a little repetitive, to be honest. But it was a really solid story, I think. I would say that it almost feels incomplete, just and obviously because it's only the first season. I don't know if it'll get another one because I don't know if it was very popular or not. But I liked it a lot. I thought it was a fun watch. But also there's the fact that if you're expecting flashy animation, this is not the series for you. It's not like it's a different animation style, but it's not on the flashy side for sure. So definitely like take that into account. But yeah, I would say that like the series ends off on a spot where I'm like, I wish there was more to this. But it wasn't bad. It was pretty good, and I had a lot of fun watching it. But at the same time, again, if you want something that feels complete, if you want something that's like more, if you want to feel like you're getting more of the story, you don't want to get bored in the middle. I wouldn't recommend this one just because it can hit some lulls in the middle, but still pretty good in my opinion. I enjoyed it. Okay, next, a series that needs no introduction, Jujutsu Kaisen. And I really enjoyed this season. I'm not the biggest JJK fan, to be honest. Like, I like the series, but it's not like it's not in my favorites, and it's not something I'm obsessed with. But I really did enjoy the action sequences this season. I thought they were phenomenally animated. Especially, I loved Maki's episode. Honestly, okay, my two favorite characters are Yuta and Maki, so obviously I was feasting this season because Maki had her whole thing with the Zenin clan early on in the season, and then Yuta had his whole thing in one of the colonies, like basically at the end of the season. And both of those were really well animated episodes. I believe they were also both longer. I believe they were both 28 minutes each, of basically both of them putting belt to ass for like that 28 minutes. So I really enjoyed that. And yeah, it was just a really fun season, I would say. Again, progresses the plot. Not much to say, I guess. I mean, again, stellar animation. I will say again, like it's kind of funny because you'll see like those jokes about the narrator and like how they're explaining abilities. There is this one episode in here where they're explaining how the culling games works, and that was a lot. And quite frankly, like that's one of those things where it's like reading it in a manga is it feels better rather than like reading it through an anime or like seeing it on an anime screen because I'm like, okay, this is like a lot here. But like luckily I kind of like already had a gist of the rules beforehand, but that was a lot. But for the most part, the rest of the season, very solid, very action packed. So if that's your vibe, that's where you can go for that. And yeah, a lot of fun watching it. And I can't wait for the next season. Can't wait for the rest of the story to be unveiled because we're kind of getting, I believe, getting closer to the end. I forget where the culling games takes place, to be honest. It's been a while since I finished Jujutsu Kaisen, so I don't know. But I believe this is pretty close to the end. But all around, pretty solid season. I enjoyed it. For all the action people out there, really. Okay, next up we have Sentenced to be a Hero, which is a story that follows basically a group of like criminals who are, as the title says, sentenced to be a hero. But in this world, when you're a hero, it basically just means you are forced to fight the demon blight on the front lines, and you can't die because if you die, you are resurrected and forced to fight again, making it the worst possible sentence that a criminal can receive, essentially. And it follows our main character Xylo, who is one of these heroes, and during one of the battles, basically through various means, is able to form a pact with a goddess named Teerita, who is the goddess of swords. And goddesses are very powerful individuals and of status who are like basically looked upon with favor by like the rest of the kingdom. Like everyone loves them, essentially, like they're worshipped. But Xylo has a problem with this because he doesn't like how the goddess's demeanor is, like in general, because they are very much hardwired and designed to seek approval and fight against the demon blight, even at the cost of their own bodies. And basically, he himself has even been sentenced into the hero unit for killing a goddess. Although there's more to it. There's more to it than him just killing a goddess. But that's why he's serving in there, because that is a very sacrilegious high crime that he committed. And basically, the story follows his adventure along with Teerita and the rest of the heroes as they fight against the demon blight in different locations throughout the kingdom. And I liked this one a lot. The first episode, like, it was an hour long, which is already great, but like the animation in that first one, masterclass. It was so good. I loved it. The style was great. I loved seeing the action sequences, not even just in the first episode, but in all the episodes. It was just really fun to watch the entire time. It is very much I would say it's almost a predictable series, but it's a very fun watch. It's not anything groundbreaking by any means outside of maybe the animation department, and even then it's very much it's just a very well animated show. That being said, very fun to watch, very enjoyable. I was a little concerned at some points because I thought that they were going to take Xylo and Teresa's relationship in a weird direction, but they didn't. They kept it a very father-daughter kind of dynamic that they have. And so yeah, and there's a second season that's already been confirmed, and I'm excited for that because the way the first season ends, I'm not gonna spoil it here, but that first season ending, they have a lot of cliffhanger episodes in this show, but the way the first season ended, I was like, oh, that's a massive cliffhanger because it's like, yeah, there's a lot, but it was really good. Basically, like learning more about the demon blight, learning more about the corruption within the kingdom throughout the episodes, and just seeing the hero party members interact because they're all very eccentric individuals, and I've seen them interact with like regular people and seen them interact with like Kivia, who is a captain of one of the knights regiments, and yeah, just a very good show. If you like action, that's the one for you. If you like if you like characters with like very eccentric personalities, that's also one for you because there are quite a few of them in there. And yeah, just a fun watch, I would say. I definitely recommend it. It's a good show, and I can't wait for the second season to come out. Next up is Fate Strange Fake, and Fate Strange Fake has gone through the ringer, I feel like, because there was like that very first episode they dropped and there was a long wait, and then I think there was like another episode they dropped followed by another long wait. But basically now we have the full like first season of the show, all airing one after another, so that was very nice. I enjoyed it. I like Fate a lot. I've been a Fate fan for a while, and this one basically takes place after the fourth Holy Grail War, yes, where basically they create a fake Holy Grail War with 13 servants in the United States for various ulterior motives, and it's been a very fun watch. I love a lot of the masters, a lot of the servants. Not sure who my favorite. Actually, yeah, I'm not sure who my favorites are. I love Enkidu a lot, so that's probably my favorite servant, as well as the fact that his master in this one is like a wolf, which I think is really funny, really fun. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I can get with this. But like again, the action sequences here, this season, honestly, like the Winter 2026 season, lots of action sequences and shows that are either based in action or shows that pull really amazing action sequences out of nowhere happened in this season, and Fate Strange Fake is honestly no exception. Like there are a lot of fights and all of them are very well animated. They look fantastic. I love watching like the servants go toe to toe with each other and pull out these ridiculous like noble phantasms and abilities that just like look great in animation. Like it's a great time to watch. First season ended. The way that ended, I was not expecting that because I know this is a light novel, but I haven't read the light novel. So the the conclusion, I did not see that coming. That was a lot. But very fun. Again, I love seeing people like kind of get to a point where I feel like a lot of the characters have gotten their resolve or their motivation for fighting basically at the end of this first season, so that'll be really fun to see rolling into the next season because there was a lot of like setup, a lot of alliances, a lot of like a little bit of trading blows, a little bit of servants fighting, but like not as much as like you might expect with there being 13 servants, 13 masters. So I'm sure that things will go crazier in later seasons, but I'm excited to watch. I think it was really fun. I would definitely recommend it if you're a fan of Fate. And if you're not a fan of Fate, you can check out Fate and honestly like then check out that one. But yeah, definitely a really good show. Another really stacked action pick for the season, which no surprise there. Okay, next up is going to be Hell's Paradise, which I was excited for this one because I finished reading the manga about a year ago. And I hadn't started the manga, I think, when the first season came out because I was like, oh, I'll just watch it. And it had been recommended to me by a lot of people. But then I was a bit concerned because I'd also seen panels from the manga. And I was like, I don't know if the anime is capturing like the art style in the way that I would like it to. So I read the manga, thought it was really good. But, again, obviously, anime can't always capture the detail that a manga has. But so, I mean, I don't even know why I was thinking that at the time. But I was really excited for this season because I was excited to see some of the matchups, some of the fights. Which again, another action show. There were a lot of them this season, and quite frankly, it's probably my fault for picking so many of them and not getting the shows that weren't action based as much. But lots of really good fights here. Lots of really good character moments between various different characters who basically teamed up for these fights against the Tencent. I love Gabimaru, who's my favorite character in the series because Gabimaru is the epitome of what it means to be a wife guy. Like, he doesn't even know if his wife's real or not at this point. People are telling him like, actually, yeah, your wife might be an illusion. He's like, maybe, but I have to leave the island to find out. And like, he's still doing all of it for his wife. Like, everything he's doing is to get back to his wife. And I'm like, you're actually a real one, to be honest. Like, that's why we love you. We love a wife guy character. And that's Gabimaru to a T. Like I said, the fights were really fun to watch. I had a lot of fun watching them. And yeah, I'm excited for the next season because this is the part where the fights are chaotic when it's just the Tencent versus like the survivors from the first expedition going at it, but like when the people from the reinforcement party or like the second expedition come in, it gets real hectic. So I'm excited to see that next kind of like step up from what we saw this season. And yeah, I don't know. I really like the series a lot. So I'll be sitting in for the next season, season 3, when it comes out. But yeah, definitely a good watch for sure. And yeah, can't go wrong. Again, cannot go wrong with this one. But again, but like I said, a fun watch. Okay, so this next one is one of my favorites for this season, and I honestly didn't know what to expect going in. I didn't know if I was going to like it, but it has consistently each week been the highlight of my week, and that is You and I Are Polar Opposites, which follows Suzuki, who is a very kind of like popular Gyaru type girl who is interested in Tani, who is a very shy, nerdy guy, and they basically start going out at the beginning of the series, and the whole series is basically like them going out, learning more about the relationship, dealing with like the little insecurities that come with like your first relationship in high school, and kind of like growing from that, going together while being polar opposites because again, they personality wise, socialization wise, they're opposites to each other. But it's really nice how like how their little friend group forms up later in the season. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It was like a dopamine dose straight to my brainstem. It like it has the ability to make you smile at the sweetest things over and over and over again each week, and it's just such a good show. It is actually a very short manga. I haven't read it, and I'll probably I don't know. I'll probably wait until after the whole thing is out because it got 2 full cours, which are gonna fully adapt the series. With the second core coming this summer, I believe. I think it starts in like July, so we are getting a break for the spring season, but it'll be back in the summer, which is actually really nice. I feel like it fits summer almost, in the same way that it fits winter. Like the vibes are it can work for either season. Um, but yeah, I don't know, just a very good show. I love watching Tani and Suzuki, watching their dynamic. I love watching the side characters' dynamics, like for example, Taira and Azuma. I love their little almost like knowing each other from middle school and like being awkward around each other and just being like. Like they're close friends, maybe more. I don't know, but who is more Nishi and Yamada, who I also they're cute. They're yeah, again another case of opposites, really cute. But yeah, fun series. It's so sweet. It's so sweet. It might give you diabetes, like low key. But yeah, it is really just one of those ones that I feel like you have to watch. I'm excited for the second half later this year. And yeah, it is also quite funny. Like there are again another series this season where I laughed quite a few times at what was happening on screen. So I recommend it. I think it's great. Again, one of the standouts for the season for me, one of the greats. And I will be sitting in this summer to watch it. And quite frankly, when it's done, I might rewatch it again because it also has a really good dub. And I haven't been keeping up with all the dub episodes. I've only watched a few of them, but maybe I'll watch the whole thing in dub once it's done. Because the dub again, solid. But very good series. Check it out. I recommend it. Okay, and last but certainly not least in this house, we have Frieren Season 2. And I know a lot of people were like expecting Frieren to reach the Golden Land arc this season, but quite frankly, with the manga being on hiatus like it is, I think it's a very wise decision to just do the kind of like middle travels or like the northern lands arc kind of like travel part before advancing into the Golden Land and just having it be like a next season thing that's coming out like in 2027 to basically maybe give the manga more time, like the mangaka and the artists to you maybe come back from the hiatus and start making more chapters. But if not, at least there's a bit of a buffer there between this kind of like mini arc that was happening and some of the larger arcs that come later on. But yeah, I really loved Frieren Season 2, which is no surprise. It's my favorite series. I am quite frankly biased by telling you to watch it and telling you that it's really good. But it is really good. It's just that good. Like, I love watching them go through the northern lands, have their little adventures. I love hearing about the hero of the South, aka the Go to the South, as I call him. I love him so much. He's a great character. I loved seeing the episode of Himmel's journal adapted and seeing like the hero party through Himmel's eyes. It's just the care that they put into this series for each episode really warms my heart because it is one of my favorites, and I just love seeing that in all of my favorites. I'm like, oh, like they really care about this one, because there are so many series out there that I feel like get done dirty or not done to the full justice that they can have. But Frieren has been lucky enough to, for 2 consecutive seasons, have a really great staff behind it who really care about putting out the best material for the fans and for the series, and I've really enjoyed that. And the way the season ends, setting us up for Golden Land, I loved hearing Mock's theme for the first time. It is so ominous. It is so powerful. It's funny because like the whole season really is like there's like the one with the sword demons. What was his face? Revolt. So yeah, there's that, which was a little ominous. That was kind of like the more actiony focused part of the season. Still not nearly as ominous as what Mock's got going on, and I'm very excited to see him in the next season, because that is my favorite arc in the series. So I will be waiting, and I will happily be seated in October 2027 to watch Frieren season 3, the Golden Land arc. And yeah, it's just a great series, great time. If you haven't seen Frieren for some reason already, or if someone hasn't told you, which I'm sure you have if you're watching anime at all, check it out. It's a really good series, and yeah, I enjoyed the season a lot, even though it was slower paced and there was a lot fewer action arcs and it was shorter. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. Okay, and that concludes the Winter 2026 anime recap. Like I said, there are some series that I didn't get to watch this winter that will probably get a review later on. Like I think Journal with Witch was one that I really wanted to pick up. I just did not have the time to add another series to my docket. So I will probably get to that one at some point, because I've heard very good things about it. I've heard it's a very good series. But there are some others as well that I wanted to check out. But yeah, again, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will be back in the spring with the spring recap. But until then, there'll be other reviews, other videos in between. And yeah, have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.